G'day there. Today we are diving into a super important topic for your average Australian, and that is superannuation. More specifically, we're going to look at what is the difference between an industry super fund and a retail super fund. And by the end of this video, you'll have a pretty good idea of which one is the best fit for you. So let's get into it. G'day there, my name is Phil McGilvray. I am a financial coach, financial wellbeing expert, and founder of the Money Boss movement, where we make practical, life-changing financial education both understandable and accessible for everyday people so that you and your family can thrive financially. And today we are going to look at the difference between retail superannuation funds and industry superannuation funds. What are the pros and cons of each, and why would we potentially choose one over the other? But first things first, let me give you a very brief overview of what exactly is a superannuation fund. Well, a superannuation fund is essentially a savings account for your retirement. Your employer is obligated to pay a percentage of your salary into this fund. That percentage is currently 11.5% as of January 2025, and that percentage will go up to 12% on the 1st of July 2025. And this money is invested over time to grow your retirement nest egg. It's also important to highlight here that you can contribute to your super fund as well. Now, the advantage of this is that the money you put into superannuation is taxed at a much lower rate. So the growth you get on your investments is taxed at a lower rate, and the income that you get on your investments inside super is also taxed at a much lower rate, which means that there's more money left in your superannuation fund to compound over time. The disadvantage, of course, is that you can only access your superannuation fund when you retire. So it's important that you only put extra money into your super if it's money that you don't need for now. But not all superannuation funds are created equal. There are three basic types of superannuation funds in Australia. There are retail funds, there are industry funds, and there are self-managed super funds. Now, because of the complexities of a self-managed super fund and because it's not as common, I'm not going to talk about it in this video. So the two types that we are going to compare in this video are the retail super funds and the industry super funds. Okay, so let's make a start with industry funds. Industry super funds were originally set up to serve workers in specific industries, like the retail sector or construction sector or healthcare or education. They're not-to-profit member funds, which means that any profits are reinvested back into the fund to benefit members by the way of lower fees or better services. Because they're not-for-profit, industry funds typically have lower fees and competitive returns, and they're known for being transparent and member-focused. But keep in mind, it may also mean that they have less investment options and less flexibility than you would find in a retail fund. Now let's talk about retail superannuation funds. These are typically run by banks or financial institutions like AMP, Colonial First State, Asgard, Perpetual, or MLC. Unlike industry funds, retail funds are for profit, meaning they aim to generate profits for their shareholders as well as returns for their members. Retail funds often offer a wider range of investments and greater flexibility around those investments, as well as tailored financial advice. But there is a catch. They tend to have higher fees and those profits going to shareholders, which ultimately means you could end up with less in your pocket over time. So let's break this down with a really quick comparison of the two different types of funds. Industry funds are profits to members, which means that any profits that they make is plowed back into improving their customer service, improving that customer experience, but also in lowering their fees. They have fewer investment options, which I actually think is a good thing because I don't believe more options is generally the way to go. I think more options just overcomplicates things. I actually believe in keeping things very, very simple. So fewer investment options for me is actually not a bad thing. And also strong historical performance. There's plenty of research out there showing how well industry funds have done over the last 20, 30 years. Now let's have a look at the retail funds. They're for profit, owned by banks and big financial institutions, which means that they're there to make money for their shareholders as well as provide returns for their members. They have higher fees because they're there trying to make profits. Typically, their fees are that much higher. They do have more investment options. So if you really do want to know more about the investments and try and diversify your portfolio by yourself and so on, then there are certainly more options within the retail funds. And financial advice may be included. With a lot of the banks and financial institutions, they do have financial advisors who will actually advise you on the different investments that you're getting yourself into. So which one should you choose? Well, it depends on your priorities. If a low fee, simple member focused approach is your priority, then a industry fund is probably the way to go. If, however, you would like tailored investment advice and greater flexibility with your investments, then perhaps you should be looking at a retail fund. But keep in note with the retail funds, the fees do make a difference. A few weeks ago, I created a video looking at the impact of investment fees over time. If you would like to check that video out, there's a link in the description below. But let me just say the impact of investment fees over 10, 20, 30 years can be significant. So before you make a decision, do your research. Use comparison tools like the Australian government's Your Super comparison tool, or check out independent reviews on sites like CanStar or Finder. And don't forget to look at your fund's performance, fees, and insurance options. At the end of the day, your superannuation is your money. It is possibly going to be the biggest investment asset that you will ever own. So regardless of whether you go with a retail fund or a industry fund, it is really important that you stay engaged and make informed decisions. 30 years of financial coaching and advising have taught me that little decisions that we make today can literally make $1 million difference in 20, 30, 40 years time. So it pays to stay focused and stay engaged. If you have found this video helpful, please click the like button because that helps my videos reach more people. And please click the subscribe because every week I am releasing more videos with practical, life-changing financial education. And as I said earlier, little habits, little decisions, little strategies that you put in place today can literally make $1 million difference to your future. So click the like, click the subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.